Hey loves, it's Susie Ashworth. I'm going live on Insta as well. It's Susie Ashworth from the Calm Birth School and the Baby Business School, and I wanted to hop on super quick because I've got one child in bed, I have one child watching Monsters Inc, and I have one child out with her daddy. So I thought this might give me 10 quick minutes to hop on here and just fill you in on a conversation that is happening in the Baby Business School, because it's a really juicy one and ties in beautifully with the newsletter that I have got ready to send out on tomorrow. So I thought, rather than just keeping it, hey Michelle, rather than just keeping it to myself, I thought I would share with you what was going on, because one of the questions that popped up today, or maybe it was yesterday in the group, was a woman saying, shall I move forward with my big idea? It's an idea that keeps on popping back to me. And my immediate response was, well, why wouldn't you? And then there were kind of quite a number of different responses that came up, and I just thought, this is so juicy, because what she said to me was, the reasons that she might not move forward were fear, getting it wrong, not having enough information, because this whole big thing that she would be doing if she was going to move forward would require investment of money that she hasn't got, a lot of time, and she would have to learn a lot of new skills. So was it a good idea? And I couldn't believe how much she's tied in with my newsletter. So as I said, my initial response was, well, why wouldn't you move forward, even despite all of those things? And then I started to think, okay, so what is going on with her? And I think that it's the same thing that happens with so many people. Hey, Gina. I'm answering a question for somebody who it might be helpful to. You know who it might be helpful to. So look, I think the first thing is that you do have to get connected to your big why. So why is it that you would want to move forward? And somebody said this in the group, and I think that it's really important. If the answer is simply because you want to make some extra cash, then with all of the other things that you have listed, or that have been listed, I would say you can't just do it for money, because you are going to run into far too many barriers. You know, as an entrepreneur, somebody who is doing it by themselves, it's fucking tough, actually. And if you are only motivated by cash, then I think that it's too hard. I think that it is too hard, and you run into those obstacles. It's just like, oh, why bother? And we all have those moments where we think, why am I doing this? This feels really tough. I had one of these moments last week even, which is really unlike me, and I felt kind of filled with anxiety. I had to really take a deep breath. I had to listen to my own relaxations. I had the Powerball on, really trying to just gain a bit of perspective. So I think that when you think about your wider calling, so how much impact do you want to have? How do you want to change the world? How do you want to serve people? If your idea feeds into how you want to show up as a person, then I absolutely think you have to go for it. So I think that we as individuals get so wrapped up, and we take what's going on in our own world so fucking seriously, that we miss the bigger picture. And for me, and obviously this all comes down to our own individual beliefs, but I feel like this is just a blink of an eye. If you think about how big the world is, how small the Earth is in our whole bloody galaxy, in the whole cosmos, to think that we're the only people here living our lives at this particular time is just ridiculous to me. And my own personal beliefs are that this is just one of many lifetimes that we're going to live. So when I look at it like that, I think to myself, Suze, just chill the fuck out. How can one decision that you make now ruin everything if you are going to be here for many, many, many lifetimes. Just relax and go along for the ride, you know. I think the other thing is you either believe that everything is always working out for you, or you don't believe it. But you can't only believe that everything is always working out for you when things are going well, you know. Everything happens for a reason. So that fear of making a mistake, that fear of getting it wrong, you know, my husband was an assistant head teacher and he's given up his job to support me in my mission. Do you think that there are days when I don't absolutely crap my pants? But the reality is that I believe that everything is always working out for me. And even if I didn't make a single penny in this business, the way that it looks right now for the rest of my life, do I think that him leaving his job would have been a mistake? Absolutely not. Because of the time that we've spent together as a family, because of the time he gets to spend with Luna, which he didn't get with the other two, because of all of the, you know, because of the way that he's now able to explore everything that he wants to do creatively. He's creating some really, really beautiful paintings that he would never have been able to do if he was stuck in his job. And so even when you can't see the path, even when it feels like you are going completely tits up, I believe that everything is always working out for us and everything is happening for a reason. And we can't see what's round the next corner, but every single decision that I have ever made in my entire life is leading me to be sat here right now talking to you ladies today. And that will be having some kind of impact. It will be making some kind of difference. Even me saying this to myself is having some kind of impact and making some kind of difference. This is supposed to be happening. You're supposed to be here right now. You're supposed to be there right now. And the lessons that we are learning are all relevant. So even when it feels like a massive F up, I just want to say that everything happens for a reason. And if you believe that everything is working out for you, then embrace the F-ups as much as we embrace the likes, the hearts, the loves and people and the affirmation that we're getting it right. Like even the mistakes are supposed to be happening. And I think that when we can embrace that, we release the rage, we release the stress. I'm just going to read some of the comments. Lauren, totally get that since doing the whole 9 months and changing track. I totally believe in this girl is enough and it's so much easier to know what's right. Yeah. Karina's just saying we don't have to take it all so seriously. No, we don't. And Sarah's just saying, I know I was about to go out for a walk and then I saw you and I had to listen. Thanks for being here. The other thing is people talk about the right time, and it's interesting. I'm listening to a great book at the moment. It's called The 5-Second Rule. It's by a woman called Mel Robbins, and her premise is it takes only 5 seconds for our logical brain to kick in when we have an instinctive thought about something, for our logical brain to kick in and tell us that it's not the right thing for us to be doing, and to rationalize all of the reasons why we should be pulling back. And I so get that. What I can tell you is that I don't believe that there is ever a perfect time to move forward with things. Now, as somebody who has a lot of ideas, I can't move forward with every single idea. Okay, I can't. I want to, and every idea was a great idea, but I can't move forward with them all. So I have to be more discerning, and I am practicing kind of having my ideas board and putting all of my ideas to one side so I don't feel like they're being lost. But when you have a big idea that keeps coming back to you, I believe that that is a gift. And if you have ever read or listened to, what's her name, Liz Gilbert's Big Magic, she talks about gifts, these ideas kind of circulating in our energy field. And when we have those ideas, that's a gift for us that we are supposed to grab onto. And they will only hold out, they will only hang around for a certain period of time before they get fucked off with us. and they go to somebody else's energy field for them to have the idea. And I really, really get this. If you have a big idea and you sit on it and you sit on it and you sit on it, you only have a certain amount of time before somebody else gets it. And then you see them running with it, and guess how you feel? You feel disappointed. You feel like you can't do it anymore. You can't move forward because your great idea that was uniquely you is being replicated by somebody else who hasn't sat on their arse and actually got up and done it. You know, if you aspire to make a difference in the world, and so many people say they want to, but once they have the idea, don't then do anything about it. So if you inspire to get up and make a difference, then you have to follow through on the ideas that you have when they present themselves to you, and trust that everything is always working out for you, even if you don't have the money, even if you don't have the skills. You know, if you practice all of the mindset work that I talk about, so if you practice that, really, really seeing yourself and the feeling and really embodying that end result, and just trust that all you have to know is what to do to take the next step forward, things will work out for you, even if they turn out differently to what you anticipated them being. So, God, like, grab it before someone else grabs it. You want to make a difference, you want to stand out, you want to impact lives, and you have to follow through. Most people stop at the idea and they don't follow through. Most people are too scared to bet on themselves. And this is such a big one. If you're too scared to bet on yourself, how do you expect, and I'm talking about this in relation to investment and financing ideas that seem really fucking out there. But if you're not prepared to bet on yourself, and this can be finance, it can be time, it can be energy, it can be radical ideas. If you're not prepared to bet on yourself, then how can you expect anybody else to bet on you? You have to bet on yourself. You have to follow through, and you have to know that even if it doesn't turn out the way that you're expecting it, you are still on exactly the right path and you're exactly where you're supposed to be. That is the only difference between the people who achieve stuff and the people who don't achieve anything. The people that achieve stuff are the people that have ideas and follow through. The people who don't achieve stuff are the people that have ideas, talk about it, but then don't take the next step. So I implore you, if this feels like it is taking you towards the bigger vision for how you want to show up in the world, then just take the next step. Do not be scared. Do not be a talker, but just go for it. So can the Mastermind Retreat help me on this? The Mastermind Retreat will be a starting point for you, Gina, but we don't have, so each person will probably have around 20 minutes to talk and get feedback from everybody. So that's not a huge, it's not a huge amount of time, but it will definitely identify. So the theme for the Mastermind Retreat is illuminate, and to see where we can be, where we're holding ourselves back, where we're dimming our light when we should be stepping forward. So if part of what is holding you back is the fear of moving forward, then we will look to see where we can shine a light and reduce the amount of shade there is in this bit, so you can take the next step. In terms of how specifically, I don't know what the idea is, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to give you specific step-by-steps, but you know, most of the time the biggest thing is just to take the first step, so we can definitely talk about that. Hey Lindsay, you're doing amazing things right now, lovely. So yeah, keep it up. Nicholas Snowd is, yeah, an amazing example, and Lauren, of how this stuff really works. Karina's just saying, someone told me this week, how dare you hold back all your amazing knowledge so that when there are so many women who need it? Yes, facing the fear. You know that, Karina? That's not the first person who said that to you in those words, maybe different words, but yeah, you know that. Jojo, hey Joe, I'm so sorry I haven't got back to the message for you, but this is kind of all connected as well. Sarah, just do it. Nicola, it's implementing the small steps as well. I realised after speaking with you, maybe me, that I love doing massive things but neglected the details. Yes, the details are the magic, absolutely. Right, I think this is it from me this morning. So look, enjoy the rest of your weekends, have a lovely time, but look, if you want to make a difference, please, please, please take the next freaking step. Don't hold back. Don't let fear be the reason to not follow through on your dreams. You know, everything happens for a reason. You're on the right path. Even when you feel like you're not, you're on the right path. So it's all good. Right. See you later.